Okay, I think we all know what we do need to start talking about today.
That's true. We
Yeah,
definitely there's some things we have to talk about. So
Let's just get the big one taken care
yeah.
of. Matt Stafford traded to the LA Rams for Jared Goff and two first round picks and then a few later round picks, correct? Or was it
Two
just
first round
Jared
picks and just one third round pick.
one third round? Is that what it is? Yeah. So
Yeah.
Jared Goff, two first rounders for the next 2 years, and then
Mhm.
a third rounder. What do you guys think about that?
the Rams, the Rams agreed with me. The Rams completely agreed with me. They thought Jared Goff was complete trash, and they traded a king's ransom to upgrade.
Yeah.
And not even the best quarterback being dangled around the trade market right now. Not that Deshaun Watson is as openly available as Matt Stafford was, like from both sides, the Lions and Stafford. But it was a lot to pay. But I still think the Rams made a good choice. I think it was worth it for sure. I think Stafford's really really good, and that's like instantly plug into what the Rams have, and they're going to be really. I expect them to be really good next year.
As an NFC West resident, it makes me very nervous. Because yeah, I think we'll see. Obviously, Stafford is better in almost every way in the quarterback position. And like we talked about before, I think that's the big thing that the Rams were missing was, a, a stellar quarterback. I think if they were ever gonna do a move like this big and willing to give so much for someone, it's now, just because the rest of the team is really really solid as well. He's got offensive weapons. The defense is looking amazing because they traded a lot of first round picks and a lot of picks in general for Jared Goff that they haven't recouped from. So I think they're out. Isn't it like six first round picks in the future? It's like,
I
I don't know
I
if
don't know. The
it's,
Rams haven't had first round picks in a long time
and they're
because
not going to for a long
they
time either.
they've traded them away every year. I mean, they traded a first round to get Jalen Ramsey.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure. I think before that they traded a first round to get Marcus Peters from the Chiefs way back when.
And then they
And
traded a couple for Jared Goff.
yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah, they did. They traded
Yeah,
two. It was just two.
Yeah.
Wasn't yeah. Two
two
first round
first
picks.
to get to move up to get Goff in
Mm-hmm.
the draft.
Oh, to move up to get Goff? Oh.
Well,
They didn't have to move up. I think they already had the first round, the number one pick.
no, no, no. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, they trade two to
Yeah,
get rid
two
of Goff.
away. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
hear you. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I was
Either way,
confused.
the point I'm trying to make is they're not getting anything from the first round. They haven't for a long time and they won't for a long time. So it's kind of like, you know, what they have is what they have.
Yeah, they've kind of lived and died by free agency and trades for a long time. They haven't really been replenishing in the early rounds of the draft, and I guess you can look at their record and say, well, it's panning out because they're in the playoff mix at least every year. I'm
Hmm.
and they've made it to a Super Bowl. So, I mean, you can't ask for much more than that, I suppose. So, and I think, yeah, like I said, Matt Stafford, he's a difference making quarterback, especially in my opinion, if you're coming from Goff. So, I like how they just said, you know what, we want him, we're going to go get him, we'll pay up, and it
Yeah.
worked out. I think ballsy moves like that are what keeps teams alive.
I think, yeah, I think especially in the short run, the next year, maybe two, it's a really good move. They're going to be really, really dominant. Once people start to get into free agency, they're missing those first round picks. I think things may decline. I don't know. They've done pretty well in the past, but no, for the next couple of years, they're I think they're probably the scariest team in the NFC West. by far
I
now.
kind of to go off on this. You know what? I feel like to some degree, not fans and NFL in particular, I think they overvalue draft picks sometimes
Yeah.
because I mean, outside of honestly like maybe the first like 3 or 4 picks, I feel like the chance that whoever you take in the draft will be a starter 3 or 4 years later is like, I don't know. It goes down quickly, but even I'd say by the mid first round, it's maybe 50-50 whether that player is going to actually be a starter, long-time starter in the league. So,
Yeah, the back half of the first round's like a early second round pick, more accurately.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's half the league. I mean, that's where the Rams are. I expect they think they're going to be in that back half for sure. So, not the draft is just so uncertain. So, to me, 2 first round picks for a proven starter in this league at the most important position. In that context, to me, it seems like a no brainer. It doesn't
Yeah.
even seem like a big deal when I say it like that. So yeah, I think it's great.
Yeah, I think it's good too. I'm in like a few Facebook football groups, and there are people that are talking trash about Matthew Stafford, like how he doesn't win. But I mean, it's Detroit,
Yeah,
you
he was
know,
in
like
Detroit, man.
he's in
Yeah.
Detroit, and it's easy for anybody to feel bogged down there. They're poorly run. Barry Sanders quit on him early. Calvin Johnson quit on him early. Like it's no fun. Unlike the Browns and like Jacksonville and then the Bills before uh, Josh Allen, like at least those franchises were like fun. Like you look at their uniforms and they're kind of fun. Even the Browns uniform a little bit, and then the fans are a lot of fun. You know, Duvall, the Dog Pound, and Bills Mafia. Detroit, no one enjoys being there. I always like whenever I like watch a Lions game that at their home, it makes me want to fall asleep. It's really I don't know. It's not very exciting. It's very
Yeah.
boring. And so it's easy to feel bogged down. You got no talent around you. The Lions have been poorly run since the 30s. So I mean, Matt, I've seen enough Cowboy Lions games to know that Matthew Stafford definitely has been wasting his career in Detroit for a long time, and I think this change of scenery in a fun city of LA with a fun coach is really going to revitalize him. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm really excited to see. Like, all right, you've had 12 years in the league, prove yourself now, Matthew Stafford.
Honestly, I can't think, I was thinking about it earlier today. What is kind of probably going through Matt Stafford's mind right now? Like what he was doing today, he's probably like, oh, I got to buy a house in LA and stuff like this. But can you think like there are very few teams? Actually, I don't think there's another team in the league like LA. Like that is the perfect place for a quarterback to transfer right now. I mean, just look at the talent, the weapons, the defense. I mean, he's got to be super ecstatic because he is going from like Lions to, it's black and white, night and day difference to the players he's going to be surrounded by. And I think it is, it should put some pressure on him because it's like, all right, you don't have an excuse anymore, Stafford. You've got to win. Like, honestly, where did the Rams go? Didn't they go 11-5?
They get 11 wins. I thought it was like 10. I don't
Maybe it
know.
was 10. I think it was
I'll
11.
look at the standings. I'll check it out. Yeah, they went 10-6.
Okay, 10-6. So that's what I'm saying.
That's with Jared Goff.
This coming season, if they're 10-6, I would say even if they're like 11-5, it's a failure. Matt Stafford, you didn't fill the shoes you're supposed to fill, kind of thing, because he's leaps and bounds ahead of Jared Goff, and obviously disregarding injuries and health, they should be a 12-4, 11 or 13-3 team with Stafford now, in my opinion.
I see that, and to some degree that's true, but I think what the Rams are really getting out of this will hopefully for them come to fruition in the postseason. Because I feel like with Stafford, you get a quarterback that can win you a game when the quarterback needs to win it. Because the Rams' formula all season was strong defense and a powerful running game, and it got them through the wild card round. But when push came to shove, I never thought Jared Goff could step up when he needed to. I think Stafford can. So I think this gives them the potential. For example, if they had Stafford at quarterback when they were in the Super Bowl, I think there's a very good chance that they have a ring instead of a loss because Goff just kind of fell apart that game. So I don't know. I don't know if I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't know if they'll necessarily set the league on fire, like be the new Chiefs or anything.
No.
I could see them like, you can expect to get another win, but when you're at 10-6, your regular season record's not the big issue. It's trying to go to the big game and win the big game.
And that's
and I
definitely
think
that's definitely what this move was. We want to be
Yeah.
Super Bowl contenders, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they're already getting into the playoffs with Jared Goff. And that's a good point you make. This was a Super Bowl move. We want to go to the Super Bowl and win.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, I think that the measure of success, the difference they're getting from, Goff to Stafford is having the quarterback be able to win you the game and not just, the defense bailing out or relying too heavily on the run game. Like even if they go 10-6 or 11-5, I think like if some of those wins came from Stafford making a play, I think they've already justified their trade.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure. Well, the other half of it is, I guess we'll see if Goff can himself get a fresh start to some degree with the Lions. I mean, he's in a weird place where, I'm critical of Jared Goff, but he's never been like a bottom of the league quarterback. He's just the quarterback and hasn't been quite good enough outside of, he had one stellar season where he really did look good. Besides that, he's just kind of so-so. So I wonder if he'll, I don't know, see this as a chance to improve in Detroit. Maybe not. Maybe they're looking to draft a quarterback with one of those new first-round picks in the coming years. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't see him flourishing there. They've got a new coach who is a very different personality than Sean McVay. So we'll see how that.
Remind me who the Lions hired.
Dan Campbell. And he was.
Where was he at?
He's coached the Dolphins before, and they were bad. But he was a tight end back in the day. He played for a couple of years for the Cowboys. But he's like this really tough guy, and he was talking about biting off ankles when it was in his press conference when they hired him and stuff like that. And like, we're gonna get up, and we're gonna bite their ankles, and then they're gonna push us down, and then we're gonna bite off their other ankles.
That's who they would hire in Detroit, man.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see what kind of what kind of shiz show we're gonna see.
Well,
Detroit.
I don't know. The fact that they do have so many high round picks, Parker's right where you can't completely rely on them. But if you're a team like the Lions and you kind of need to rebuild, nice to have that many first round picks, second round picks, third round picks. So I would say in 3-4 years, I would assume the Lions are a better team than they are, whether they have Goff or not.
Yeah.
If they use him right, they could be another Browns story. But I mean, like, it would be a matter of getting the coach right. I don't think they have the coach right now, but in the meantime, I guess build the team and then maybe have a tempting roster for a better coach to come in. And that's kind of what happened with the Browns. The Browns actually had a lot of talent while they were sucking. They built up a lot of talent, and they were bad for a long time. And then until finally they got the coach right, and we saw what happened there. So, but the chances of that happening again are pretty slim. So
I'm not sure Goff has the persona or the personality to, I think a huge part of Baker's success is he had the personality. He wanted to be the savior of football in Cleveland, and kind of the team rallied behind that and fed off the energy. I don't know if I see that coming from Goff in Detroit. You know what I mean?
I agree. I think that's my biggest knock of Goff, even when I was high on him, was like he's not very driven. Because I've made the comparison to Brady, like a less driven Brady, but like if you're a less driven Brady, you're not very good, because what makes Brady good is him being driven. So he's too calm and relaxed, and I think he just takes everything too much in stride. And I don't see Goff being in Detroit for longer than 2 years.
Could be right. That's what a lot of players and coaches that have been around him say too. He's quiet. He's not an ideal leader in the sense of inspiring others. He just kind of shows up and does what he's supposed to. And he's good. I mean, we got to remember, he took a team to the Super Bowl. So he's capable of a lot, but there are definitely a few things where if he was really driven, he was a little bit more mobile, really just those two things, he would be a top tier quarterback, but those two things and probably a few others are kind of what hold him back.
Well, let's talk real quick, just an update about kind of the status of the Deshaun mania going on. Not too many updates, except for it sounds like the Houston front office they might be playing hardball based on what they're saying, and they're kind of like, Deshaun is not being traded. Like, I'm pretty sure their owner came out and said it's not even a possibility that we trade Deshaun. So, and then their new coach said Deshaun will definitely be a Houston Texan this coming years. But Deshaun's camp, they formally asked to be traded. Every beat reporter who says they have any source of it is saying Deshaun is not going to play in Houston under any circumstances. So it looks like we're headed for quite a showdown this offseason. I'm starting to wonder who will win this sort of battle.
I think both sides got to be really careful how they take this, or else
everyone gets screwed.
It's gonna be bad in every way.
I can only see this going bad for the Houston Texans, because you either trade him and your team sucks, or he holds out and your team sucks. And so
the only leverage the only leverage the Texans have is if he doesn't show up, I guess they'll just fine him or whatever. Deshaun just signed a fat contract. I don't think they're gonna be able to find him enough money to have him care.
And because he does get a bunch of guaranteed money. He does get paid to play in the game, so he won't get the money for playing in the games if he doesn't play. But still, he makes plenty from the guaranteed money to not have to worry about that, I don't think. So Deshaun has a lot of leverage. If I was Houston, I would just kind of wave the white flag, and I might even consider firing who I just hired for Deshaun.
If you're the Texans, you mean?
Really? Their GM that pissed him off?
Yeah.
Not the GM himself, but the hiring of him.
Yeah, the hiring of him. I know he's not responding to them because he's blocked them, all of Houston's social media. So it's going to be really hard to get a contact to contact him. But I would, we're like, swallow my pride. But we're talking about billionaires here, so I'm just a scrub. So it's pretty easy to swallow my pride. But easier said than done. But I mean, you got to realize that you made a mistake, and if you really want Deshaun there, you better start bending backwards for him.
Yeah.
Because now J.J. Watt wants out too, and I've heard that they actually are going to oblige. He wants to be released, and the Texans have said, "Yeah, we're thinking about it." And so,
Yeah, that's tough. What crossed my mind, which I haven't heard anyone bring up, is those teams that aren't in the running to get Deshaun, or I don't have maybe the highest interest. I wonder if there's pressure amongst the ownership to say, don't let Deshaun do this, because this is
yeah,
a real shift between power with the ownership and power to the players. And like you brought up, these are billionaires. They don't want to secede. They don't want to set a precedent for future players to mimic, completely turning a franchise on its head because they're not happy, So I think there's probably considerable pressure from both sides of this thing. And the Houston Texans, they're kind of in a lose-lose. I mean, they might be able to get away with a lot of picks but I think they believe, and rightly so, how many picks are you going to get that's going to make this worth it? Especially keeping in mind what I said. A first-round pick after the second half might be a starter. What's the chance that it's a franchise-altering for a decade or two sort of starter? Very little, and that's who they're dealing. So,
So if I were to choose a side, I would choose the ownership side rather than Deshaun Watson. I don't think, I don't think quarterbacks should have to be in, franchise decisions like hiring GMs anyway. I think if you are great, it's because you're respected and trusted by the head coach and leadership and ownership. But if you aren't, it's not like that's part of the job description of being the quarterback anyway. But also, if the trade does happen, this would make, especially in the quarterback position, be more of a player-driven league. And I just can't imagine the NFL becoming player-driven similar to the NBA. It would all of a sudden just be, yeah, if I'm a quarterback that's good, I can go anywhere I want, whenever I want. I mean, players in the NBA switch mid-season sometimes, and that would just. I think NFL needs to be teams and not quarterbacks that are the stars of the league, and I think there needs to be way more teamwork and teammanship rather than everyone's just paying attention to quarterbacks. Quarterbacks can play how they want, when they want, where they want, whenever they want, kind of thing. I just don't think that'd be very healthy for. So I hope the ownership sticks with their guns and kind of calls Deshaun's bluff and make him stay and make.
We'll see, man. We'll see. I'll tell you one thing. I think teams are going to definitely think twice about adding a no trade clause to contracts going forward, because the leverage that Deshaun is, because that's the thing. He's not only demanding a trade, but he's saying he decides where he's traded to. So he's basically, minus the contract money, he's basically a free agent in his mind. Like, I can go where I want, sign with who I want, as long as they're willing to trade. And if my team decides to send me somewhere else, because other teams, like for example, Deshaun has publicly said, my preferences are the Jets and the Dolphins. If there is any talks as far as between the Texans and those teams, you don't think that they're saying, Houston's like, give us 3 first rounders and 2 second rounders, and the Jets are like, here's the thing, we already know your player wants to come here and he'll say no to someone else, so we're going to bring that offer way down here. And man, now how humble do you feel like the Houston Texans are? Not only are they being forced to trade away their best player, but they're they're basically, I don't know how you'd call it, like handicapped in their negotiations with these teams because they're not in control ultimately of what happens. So that's
See, that's what I don't
difficult.
like. Deshaun Watson thinks he can basically just void his entire contract besides the pay, like besides the money they're paying him. And that's not how it should work.
Yeah. I don't know. It's an interesting situation. I'm really interested to see how it pans out. I'm actually surprised somewhat that the Matthew Stafford trade happened so quickly. You know, I wonder how many offers went through there before the Rams said yes, because it felt like it was a week since it was official that he was being moved, and then it was done.
Yeah.
I think it was just a good trade because Jared Goff is good enough to where he can definitely just start anywhere. Where a lot of the teams that wanted Stafford couldn't just like trade like, oh, we've got this quarterback that can totally like start and fill the place for you. You know what I mean? Most of them are like, well, we need a quarterback because we don't have one. Where the Rams were like, we have one, he's decent. We'll give you a couple first round picks. You guys should be good. You know what I mean? It worked out really well for the Rams. Just probably why it happened so fast.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. Any other league news? I mean, it's kind of just Super Bowl media week right now.
Yeah.
You know?
There was a Pro Bowl the other day, right?
No, there wasn't actually a Pro Bowl this year, even though they had, Pro Bowl players. They didn't play a game, I don't think.
Okay, I think
there was a Madden tournament. I think I saw Marshawn Lynch play Snoop Dogg or something in Madden. That was all I saw of it, but
it's fine. It's not like anyone really pays attention to that anyway, so I don't feel obligated to watch it or cover it.
Oh,
I don't ever watch the Pro Bowl.
Speaking of that, though, some news that maybe our listeners haven't heard. I don't know if they care about it or not, but I heard that EA is going to make a new NCAA football game.
Yeah, it's official.
I saw that.
It's officially announced.
Dude, that's pretty sick. That's awesome. Been away for a while.
Yeah, it has been, and towards the end, it was better than Madden.
Yeah,
I don't know why they got rid of it.
Well, I wonder what changed. The reason they got rid of it is because college athletes, and it wasn't super kosher that they were using their names and identities and stuff and not paying them or compensating them in any way. So I wonder what changed, because I don't think any major laws have changed about that. I wonder if they're going to start compensating college athletes. What?
I don't know. Yeah. Well, it's back, so whatever.
Or maybe they just got enough college athletes to be like, we don't freaking care. I want to be in a video game, and I miss NCAA. They signed a petition or something.
But it's not like they're a union. They're athletes, so they don't have a job. They don't get paid, so they don't get any negotiation power in that at all. So I don't know, man. But just more motivation to get a PS5 now. So
yeah. I hope it's good. That'll be fun. Besides that, man, I mean, the only news I mostly see coming through is, interviews going on this week, media week, stuff like that. Anything else I've missed? Or
I think we've covered the Super Bowl enough. I mean, it'll be a good game.
And do you guys still your same picks from last week? Or are they still your guys' picks this week?
Yeah, I'm going to stick with it. Ride it all the way.
And just to refresh, I even have to refresh myself. I picked Buccaneers. Thomas picked Buccaneers.
I did. I want the Chiefs to win, but I think the Buccaneers will. Austin picked the Chiefs.
I picked the Chiefs. The one time I rooted for Tom Brady, which is when they played the Eagles in the Super Bowl, he lost. So maybe you guys are probably going to be right, because because I'm going to root for my pick, even though like I don't hate Tom Brady, but
I don't know.
yeah, so we'll see.
That's pretty small sample size, Austin.
Pretty small sample size, 10 Super Bowls, and I've only rooted for.
Well, small sample size of. I guess
he has lost games where I was rooting for the other team.
Yeah.
Well, I was rooting for the Giants the first time. The second time, I was on my mission, so I didn't see that the second Super Bowl between them, so I wasn't really rooting for anybody. But
yeah, Tom Brady. He's always had a problem with those NFC South teams.
NFC East.
I mean East. Sorry.
Yeah, I know the Cowboys needed a chance. That's what they needed with
to play Tom. They never had their chance.
Never got their chance. Now he's in the NFC. So, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this is going to be a short podcast, obviously, but I want to ask you guys. This is off topic from the Super Bowl. I don't think there's too much more we can discuss about that. But if I'll go first, but think of your favorite play of the season. And it doesn't have to be the best or most impressive play, but the one that brought the most enjoyment and emotion out of you. And I'll go first, and you guys can think while I do it. And I'm going to, obviously, like, my top 10 are all Seahawks plays. But in an attempt to be unbiased, I will choose a non-Seahawk play. I could think of some Seahawk plays. My favorite non-Seahawk play of the season is probably Packers, LA Rams, in the playoffs. When Packers, it's like, I don't know, 2nd or 3rd and 5 at the end zone, where Aaron Jones went in motion across the line and then quickly turned around and sprinted motion back, and he threw Jalen Ramsey off, and Jalen Ramsey got blocked by the safeties, and it was an easy pass. Aaron Jones wide open.
The Devontae Adams touchdown.
Sorry. That's probably why you guys are like, wait, what? Sorry, Devontae Adams. Not Aaron Jones. I don't know why. It's like the A's and Adams and Aaron or something.
They got a name thing going on in Green Bay. Aaron Jones, Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams. Yeah, I feel
it screws me up. But sorry. Devontae Adams starts on the right, goes in motion to the left, quickly turns around, goes in motion back to the right. Jalen Ramsey gets blocked by the safeties. And what really the main reason I love this play is beautiful play design and stuff. Crazy athleticism sprint by Devontae Adams. But Jalen Ramsey getting pissed. And you see him like throw his arms up and down. And he turns around and starts yelling at his receiver, or not his receivers, his safeties. Just pure NFL gold right there.
Absolutely. That must have been cathartic for you, especially coming off of the previous week.
I hate Jalen Ramsey.
Oh man, I'm gonna go week 10, Cardinals versus Bills. The Hail Mary touchdown, the Hail Murray pass of the year. That just was, I don't know where it was, near the 50-yard line, and Kyler Murray was under pressure early, and he just spun out, ran to the left, and just chucked it up. And just that image, and it's already been used in NFL ads, and it's going to be one of those images or videos that's going to be, that's an instant classic of a clip. Just seeing DeAndre Hopkins just lift over 3 Buffalo defenders, and it just goes right into his hands, and he yanks it in. That was fun because I was watching that game, and it was a back and forth game. The Bills had just had a fantastic drive of their own. But that was the best Hail Mary I've seen since, Aaron Rodgers threw those couple of Hail Marys like 3 or 4 years ago, and it was the Hale Rogers back then. This is the best one I've seen since then.
Absolutely.
That was fun.
Like, good game.
Well, mine's not completely unbiased, but I one of my favorite moments was back in week 2 when Justin Herbert got a surprise start 5 minutes before the game, and it was either the first or second drive. It was pretty early in the game, and Justin Herbert takes off, and he's near the sideline, and there's a linebacker, and he just lowers his shoulder and delivers an equally or maybe even bigger hit to that Chiefs linebacker and I was like, oh baby. I like Justin Herbert, and he came so close to winning that game. They lost in Chargers fashion, not Justin Herbert fashion, but in classic Chargers fashion.
Classic Chargers, man.
Losing by a field goal, and so, yeah. But I really like that moment. A more unbiased one would be the Chiefs Browns playoff game when Chad Henne ran it on 4th down or on 3rd down, and was like a half yard away from getting that first down. That was like the fastest my heart has raced in any game that it wasn't a Cowboy game all year. I was like, oh my god,
yeah,
how are you letting him run?
That was ridiculous. Yeah, I love that pick though, man. That was an awesome introduction for Justin Herbert into the league. His name was definitely on everyone's minds from the first game he played.
Dude, honestly, Justin Herbert should probably write that doctor a thank you card. That punctured
poor Tyrod Taylor's lungs.
Like, maybe that's the play of the year. That doctor's like, dude, you're trash. This Justin Herbert guy.
I feel bad for Tyrod Taylor because he's lost his job to a lot of young quarterbacks, to Josh Allen, to Baker Mayfield, to Justin Herbert. He goes there and he's like, all right, I'm the starter. We're going to build around me now. And then, the rookie comes in and is like, no.
Yeah.
Like Ryan Fitzpatrick, but
yeah,
at least Ryan Fitzpatrick is a little more relevant. But honestly, dude, maybe it's just like, coronavirus year and stuff, but week 2, like, that felt like last season when you brought that up. I was like, oh yeah, like, it's been a long season, man.
Bringing up week 2 already has me. Talking about that gave me the feeling of like a new football season already, even though this one's not over.
Yeah.
There's something that happens, especially if your team's bad, and it's really, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but it's very sad where at the end of every season, another disappointing year, and you're like, man, why do I even like football? Like, for real, like, what is this even doing for my life?
Yeah.
And I'm honestly, every time, like, I don't even know if I'm going to be excited next year. I really don't. But every year, man, August, July, that time rolls around, like clockwork. You're like, no, I'm excited again. This is it. This is our year. And that I started feeling that way when you're talking about week 2.
Dude,
football's different between fall and winter, and especially playoff football. Something that didn't, when we were making our picks for the playoffs, didn't take into account is just how different playoff football is than regular season football, and especially fall, like September, October. Like I always forget every year when the playoffs start how much more the defense steps up, and how much more defensive games they are. Because it's like there's so much on the line, the defense really tightens up, and there's so much less scoring in the postseason, and it's crazy.
Yeah,
it's just thinking about game, especially that Bills Ravens game. It was such a defensive game and just a chess game, and so and I always after a disappointing season, you think of the fall and how exciting it is, and then quarterbacks are throwing 5 touchdowns a game, and everyone's flinging it everywhere. It's warm and.
We're just having fun. It's a new season.
One thing, I really hope this coming year there's a preseason, because it's when the preseason starts. No, actually, you know what it is? it's like in late July or August, once they start doing on social media the 100 days
Oh, the
countdown,
top 100 and all that.
top 100, and they do the 100 days countdown.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's like, it's hard to
Dude.
describe the excitement and just like, dude, football's coming back.
Dude, I do hope they bring back preseason too. And I don't know if they take into account the injuries this year. I think there's definitely a good argument to bring preseason back for sure.
Yeah.
But what kind of what you're talking about? Like it for me too. It's like you go through the summer, you got your OTAs, then before training camp, and then dude, it's preseason, and you don't care about those preseason games really. It's just the fact that they're happening. That's exciting,
right. You like watching your quarterback throw that pass,
Yeah.
like against a vanilla defense in a vanilla play, and it's just like a pitch and catch, and you're like, perfect. I love this.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Not to mention, yeah.
Go ahead, Parker.
Sorry. I was just saying, if you're somewhere where you can even have a chance of attending a preseason game too, for it's cheap, but it's still nice weather, and you get to see your team. That's fun. Yeah. I've never been able to see the Broncos in preseason, but I think we've all been to some preseason games.
I think preseason games.
Yeah, so that's a good.
Have been.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if you were there with us, Austin, but it's a fun time. Again, it's like you don't care about what you're watching; you're just kind of chilling. It just feels like football's back, is all.
But here's the thing: no one will fully admit how passionate they are watching their team in the preseason. You're like, those games don't matter. Like, it's totally fine if we lose, but deep down inside, it's like that meme where that kid's like sitting at his desk, like so tense, his veins are like popping out of his forehead. Everyone deep down inside is like that watching their team in the preseason game. Dude. You still want them to win, dude.
You're trying to see if your rookies are any good. And how deep you are.
Yep.
It's a blast. Dude, I love postseason and stuff, especially when my team's in it, even if it's just like losing the wild card round, which is what the Seahawks do these days. But my love for football is always at its peak in like preseason week 1, 2, 3, 4. Because no matter what, even if you're like 0-3, you're still like, dude, we could have a great season, man. We could really turn this, like we can still make it to the playoffs and stuff. And then as the season goes on, you're kind of like, I just love football. I just love it. Like our team's pretty decent. And then playoffs come and it's like, we didn't make it or we made it to the wild card round. We're elite, bro. But,
it depends, man. For some teams, you get to week 4 and you're like, well, it's over. All right.
I was like, Thomas, by week 3, when the Cowboys barely beat the Falcons, I was like, man, we suck.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's like by week 3 this year, I was already done. Like, no, not happening.
Okay, well, I'm sorry that you guys are fans of teams that are definitely on like the lower.
At least, if we're throwing back, at least you had some fun games, Austin, when you guys were losing. You had some more hope.
If I was going to do a bias pick, one of my favorite moments was getting the onside kick.
Yes.
Oh my god.
And driving down the field. And
Falcons,
winning the game. That was a highlight of not very many highlights of.
Yeah, dude, that's got to be the highlight of the Cowboys season, right?
That was a fun game to watch because I was miserable the first half, and then like alive the second half, and then I I was excited, but deep down I knew like we should be 0-3. We're not good.
I'll tell you what though, man, especially looking back on the season, the only thing that kept your boys out of the playoffs was Dak going down.
Yeah.
They would have been in.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They could have won 2 or 3 more games and then they wouldn't have been in that position.
Yeah.
Right. That's true. And so that does suck. The two low points is definitely Dak going down, seeing him break his leg, and then watching Odell Beckham run reverse on the Cowboys to beat them. Those are my two least favorite things that happened this season.
Yeah.
That was painful to watch Odell just tear apart the Cowboys and also my fantasy team the same day. That always has to happen every year. Somebody's got to do that. So
That does happen every year.
Dude, let's not forget the Derrick Henry stiff arm this season either.
Oh, baby.
That produced the greatest memes that this season had to offer were the Derrick Henry stiff arm memes. Those were those were amazing memes. Fantastic.
Dude, I don't know. I'm sure I'm not the only one, but I love, usually it's like a month, 2 months after the Super Bowl. I love to just go back through like all the NFL Instagram meme pages and just like review the memes of the whole season at once. I'm like, oh yeah.
The season in review in memes.
Yeah.
That's the most honest way it's told, you know. That's the least biased history of the season is through the memes. I truly believe that.
Yeah.
All the stupid media like, oh no, they're good. They're a really well-run team. No, the memes will tell you when a team sucks. They'll tell you they suck.
My favorite is all the Pittsburgh Steeler hate memes.
Oh,
TikTok.
There's a lot of Steelers hate.
There was more than usual. I'm used to the Cowboys getting dumped on, but seeing the Steelers get dumped on was.
I think the Steelers probably got dumped. Well, no.
Every time the Cowboys lost, they got a nice.
Yeah, like the NFC East got a lot
That's
of it.
a yearly tradition.
But if we're not counting the NFC East, it was definitely the Steelers were the meme team.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, they were the postseason meme champions. That's for sure.
Oh, for sure,
absolutely.
And they kept digging themselves in a hole. Like just when like we were all about ready to forget the Steelers, some wide receiver or especially Chase Claypool would say something on TikTok, and we're like, "Oh yeah, all right, okay." Like it's the meme with from SpongeBob. How many times are we gonna have to teach this lesson, old man? And then it's back to memes, making fun of the Steelers.
Yeah, good times. You know what? I guess if anything, this has made me, and maybe for those listeners who are, odds are, if you're listening to this show, your team's probably not playing this Sunday. That's just facts. Probably not. Maybe they are. If so, congratulations to you. If not, this show, I think, get psyched for next year. There's always next year, and it's going to be fun.
Absolutely. I think that's a good place to end the podcast today. We will obviously have a lot to talk about next week, so expect a normal podcast length of time. But for all of you that have made it this far today, thanks for being here. Continue to enjoy our content because we will continue to put it out. Like, subscribe, comment, give us the thumbs up. Good night.
Later.